Hey, it's Chris Beyer.
Chris Boling,
Hey, Mr. Boling.
how are you?
Good to see your face. I've missed you here these last few weeks.
It was first time in my career I took 2.5 weeks off to go on vacation, and that was unbelievable. If you
I
can,
am so glad you did it. We thankfully had stuff recorded ahead of time, so as we're recording this, we're actually back together now,
yes,
physically in the States. But yeah, you went for 2.5 weeks. We held it down. Life was okay here. I'm sure you had a much better time than we did. But where'd you go, and why did you take 2.5 weeks off, man? That's tough to do in our business.
yeah. So in 2020, Carrie and I, my wife and I, we're both turning 50. So in 2019, we planned this amazing Italy, Greece, Turkey trip, and there was this thing called COVID.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
I've heard
know,
of it. Yes.
derailed that in 2020, derailed it again in 2021. So we were finally able to rebook it this year, and we'll celebrate 30 years being married here in September. So we just said, well, let's make it our anniversary. But yeah, it was unbelievable. My first time that I've ever been in Europe, and was blown away. Just you don't realize how young our country is until you go to Europe.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's you had shared one of those from Pompeii, because I mean you went everywhere. I'm not even gonna let you list it all out because I just get mad when I see all these places you went, and I'm like, oh my, that okay, that's awesome. But yes, how old was Pompeii, and what did you told me something about that? Like it got blown up.
Right. Yeah. It got blown up in 79 AD. And, they kept saying, oh, well, this is 2000 years old. It's 2000 years old. And finally I asked our tour guide, I said, no, it's 2000 years ago when it got destroyed. When did it actually start? And they thought it started sometime around 5000 BC is when some of the first settlers showed up in Pompeii. And I was like, what?
That's old.
That's like dinosaur old, right?
Probably.
They're like, no.
Probably. So you did a really good job while you were gone. I know you checked a few things. We kept in touch here and there. The beauty of being online as you need, but you did a pretty good job of staying away from work. So I have to ask though, of all of that, what was your? And this is the buyer household question of momentous events. What was your favorite part, and what did you learn on this trip?
Favorite part was probably Amalfi Coast.
Okay.
We had a private boat tour of Capri, and just having peace in this little bitty boat and enjoying each other's company. We went with some very good friends of ours, and it was the first time I think Carrie allowed us to relax. So in 14 days we walked 90 miles. Oh, she had things planned perfectly.
Yep.
Her goal was, she's like, I don't want to land at a location and stare at each other and say, well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't care. Well, what do you want to do? So believe me, that never happened. By the time we would step foot onto a new location, a guy had a sign and we were off seeing.
Credit to Carrie for the planning, because that's a lot of work to prep for it and then have to redo it every single time that you've had to reschedule.
Yeah, but that boat tour, just being able to go around the entire island, then we got to swim, it was just unbelievable. What I learned is exactly what I think Carrie has tried to get me to do more of, which is don't wait until you retire to finally start exploring this amazing planet.
Yep.
Do it when you can. And the second thing I learned is what a amazing team you and I have behind us.
Yes.
That you can go away for 2.5 weeks. Yes, I checked email just because I didn't want to come back to 1,200 emails, but not once did I feel like our clients were not being taken care of.
I would agree with that too. And I think that's an important thing. The two takeaways, like you said, to just go do the thing instead of waiting for it, because it's hard to plan ahead and say, well, we'll get there someday, and then someday never arrives. And yeah, our team's been fantastic. I mean, this year especially, as you've been gone with that, and we've been adding new clients, I can just tell they're in sync. They're doing a good job.
Yeah. So that's, I was stressed going away for that period of time, and we're about ready to hit fourth quarter, which is a great time for us. But I had to have faith that the people behind us are dedicated and, care deeply about our clients. And, nothing blew up. Everything was fine and it was perfect.
What
So
was I have to say then, what was the craziest experience on the trip? Like, was there, I mean, besides your flights, we knew that you said that was tough just getting out of the States with travel delays, but was there anything you're like, oh, wow, I did not expect this. This was great. Like, not even necessarily bad, crazy,
just the amount of people and
okay.
and we were hearing this throughout our vacation that 2 years of pent up demand was all in this year, and it was hotter than the gates of hell, which we knew it would be hot because we were in there, summer months. But the amount of people it's insane. I mean, the Vatican museum, I felt like I was a cow just being herded from one field to another because it was like a sea of people. And once you got into that current, you were
You were committed. You were committed. Yeah, I know I kept up with a few of the pictures that you had shared, and it's just, I mean, the beauty of Europe and all those different spots, the food and the wine and all the stuff you had too. I mean, it's just, that's why you had to walk 90 miles, because you probably ate a bushel of grain and pasta form.
Yeah, I mean, I literally gained 1 pound, and I should have gained 15, but walking 90 miles in 14 days was yeah, literally we had about 2 days that Carrie allowed us to rest.
No, but that's part of it too. I mean, that's not a destination necessarily. You're going to experience.
Yeah.
You can find a destination, go sit on the beach, or just go find a chair and look out at the mountains. But I think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's been good for me to hear that. I know Lindsay and I were talking about, all right, we just got to go do the thing and start taking these trips and enjoy it, because we're putting it off too long. So doing that, having a team behind us, I mean, is there anything else that you would say as far as being able to take time and just enjoy that you've learned through that? I mean, that's a big experience.
yeah, and it's certainly, when you get to my age and you start pondering retirement, I can tell you I'm not ready to retire because I was ready to get back into work. I was ready to get back into my groove. And a very good mentor of mine said, you'll know when it's time to retire when you take that much time off and you're disappointed that you have to go back to work. And I was not. I was eager.
Yeah.
So
That's encouraging, to know that it's still there and we're having fun doing this.
oh,
Once you got through your jet lag, though, that's the key, though.
brutal. Yeah, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, wide awake,
Yeah.
and wanting to go to bed at 5 p.m. It was, yeah, I felt like Bayer. I was ready to go to bed at 9 and up at 5. So, like, I don't like
You get in your routine, man. You get in your routine. Yeah. Yeah. It might even be 8:30 sometimes, but I got to get my rest. Well, Chris, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you and Carrie had a great time. It's good to hear some of that experience, and then we're ready to gear up for fourth quarter. It's time. We got some good things coming. So,
Well, thanks for letting me share.
absolutely. Thanks, CB.
See ya.